So a justice need to be given, proper act, proper rule needs to be implemented on ground is the demand with which these doctors in huge numbers are sitting at Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Across Delhi, the resident doctors are going to demand justice and are going to be sitting on strike starting today. Well, but obviously the elective services are going to get affected because mostly the resident doctors.
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. A young doctor who was working at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata was raped and murdered in the most brutal manner possible by one of the security guards, a civic volunteer who was keeping guard at the college and hospital. Now, this happened inside the college premises, inside a seminar hall, after the victim and her friends had stayed up late to watch Neeraj Chopra's javelin final at the Olympic Games. The accused Sanjoy Roy has been arrested, but the doctors who've been on protest not just at RG Kar or across colleges and hospitals in Kolkata, but across the country, here in AIIMS at Delhi, in some of the leading hospitals, government hospitals in Mumbai, across the country, today resident doctors and trainee doctors have been protesting. They say they want justice. They want a court-mandated inquiry or a CBI inquiry, and that Roy, the accused, should face exemplary punishment, and that too within a limited time frame. The doctors also believe that given the degree and the depravity of the injuries that you've seen on the victim, one accused alone could not have done it on his own. She met with the family. Our speaking reporter said that within 7 days, all accused in this case will be arrested and that justice will be brought in this case, failing which, she said, the case will be handed over to the CBI. We keep talking from time to time about women's safety. But if in this country, in a government college, if a doctor, a young woman doctor, is not made to feel safe, then I wonder if all of this talk, every time there is a crime that is as heinous as this committed against a young woman in this country and we have primetime debates over it, what is the point of all of these shows? What's the point of all of this citizens' outrage if a young doctor inside a government college is not guaranteed her safety and security? But first, the story.
कोई विमेन अपनी वर्किंग प्लेस पे सेफ नहीं है तो वो कैसे काम कर सकती है?
What we are getting from our people
আর ভেতরেও তো অনেকে আছে, তাহলে এই কেসটা আমরা আমাদের হাতে রাখবো না, আমরা সিবিআই কে দিয়ে দেব।
ममता जी, आपके राज में बंगाल में क्या हो रहा है? एक महिला डॉक्टर के साथ दरिद्री की हद कर दी गई। जो बंगाल में हो रहा है वो सरकारी आतंक का खौफनाक सच है।
नारी अपराध जब बीजेपी शासित राज्य में होता था तब आप उसको नजरअंदाज करते थे, लेकिन जब वो बीजेपी के विरोध जो पार्टी है वहां के शासित राज्य या सरकारों में होता था, तब उसके प्रति आपकी नजर ज्यादा जाती है।
So let's get you an overview of this case itself. What exactly happened? So on Friday morning, the body of a junior doctor was found inside a seminar hall in the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata. She was allegedly raped and murdered between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Friday when she was on shift, she was on duty at work. The suspect Sanjoy Roy has been arrested. He's connected with this rape and murder. He's been sent to police remand till the 23rd of August. The suspect, Sanjoy Roy, was a volunteer in the police welfare cell. He was a civic police volunteer. He was stationed to outpost near the RG Kar hospital. The accused had access to all the departments. In fact, he reportedly charged patients for admission as well as beds. And in a previous instance, this case had come to the light of the college authorities and they did precious little against this accused person. The CCTV cameras in the college and hospital managed to capture Sanjoy Roy near the scene of the crime around 4 a.m. Friday morning. He committed the crime. The degree and the depravity of it is almost unspeakable. And then he went home and slept. And he washed his clothes in a bid to, cover up the evidence. The police have managed to recover a blood-stained shoe, Bluetooth headset which was found near the victim, and this was used by the accused. Sanjoy Roy has reportedly admitted to the crime. The police are suspecting the involvement of other accomplices, but they have not made any other arrests so far. So it does beg some glaring questions, and the police, the authorities need to sort of come clean as far as these questions are concerned. Number one, why was the accused given unfettered access to the hospital? He was a civic police volunteer. We don't know if his background check was done, whether somebody had vetted his case, but he had access to all the departments in the hospital. There were serious charges of misconduct against him, of fraud, of taking bribes, of fleecing patients and their attendants, none of which was inquired upon by the college and hospital. Is it also true that the accused previously worked in the hospital? And again, there were allegations of corruption against him. There were allegations of misdemeanor against him. Can the police ensure that there is a fair probe to also look at the angle of the person who was on the welfare board, who apparently was the reason why he got the job in the first place? And if the state cannot do an uncompromised inquiry and get to the bottom of why Sanjoy Roy was allowed to work at the RG Kar College and Hospital, and on whose recommendation he got the job, and why allegations against him previously were not inquired into, then should the state simply not hand over the case to the CBI to ensure speedy justice? As the Chief Minister said, within 7 days, if they don't manage to arrest all the accused in this case, then the matter will go to the CBI. That's what the Chief Minister said. Let me now open this up to our various guests who are joining us, political and otherwise. Shazia Ilmi is national spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Shantanu Sen is spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. He'll be joining us in a moment. Karginandi Roy is political analyst, and Yashovardhan Azad is a former IPS officer. Shazia Ilmi, the contention of the Kolkata Police is grave, despicable, depraved horror that has happened to a young woman, a young doctor in Kolkata. Within 24 hours, the cops have swooped in, they've got CCTV footage, they've arrested the accused, and they've sent him to police remand. And the Chief Minister today, after meeting the victim's family, has also said that if there are more accomplices, then they will be arrested within a period of 7 days. And if the police are not able to do that, then the case will be handed over to the CBI.
Zaka, first of all, I would like to say that this is indeed very sad and deeply disturbing, especially the facts that have been unearthed as to how badly she was traumatized, physically assaulted and mutilated. But my question is, this happened in the premises of RG Kar Hospital. This is not some wilderness, remote forest area. And in the midst, in the precincts of a hospital, does something so barbaric and distressing takes place, despite the presence of CCTV cameras? How is it possible for anybody to do this and get away with it? We would also like to know as to who is the benefactor of this man who with no locus standi whatsoever has been given this job, and he is a volunteer of sorts with unfettered access to every department, where he has the gall and the monstrosity to go ahead and commit a crime like this. So who has been aiding him? How has this been allowed to happen? There are charges against this man and his misconduct is known. Why is the management suffering him or was suffering him? Who put him there in the first place? And if you can't keep places like hospitals safe for doctors, I mean, forget about other, other areas. And not just that, I mean, I'm also shocked. I mean, this is so brutal, especially when I read all the details on your show just now. I want to ask you, Zaka, I mean, you just see in our country, even where politics goes, we don't look at a rape per se or brutality against a woman. We see the state, we see which government is in power. We also see sometimes the religion of the victim or the survivor and that of the perpetrator. And then we decide to speak. I mean, this is one case like that. I mean, nobody has said a word. I think all political voices should have said this out together, that this is not done. It cannot happen. This cannot happen on anybody's watch. But you just see how selective the outrage is.
I'll just speak about the selective outrage in 1 second, because I think the greater focus right now is on what happened in this hospital. How could it have been allowed to happen in this hospital?
And how was it allowed to happen?
Yes, when the said doctor, the victim, was on shift, on duty at her workplace. So Yashwardhan Azad, questions need to be asked of the college management, no doubt about it. This man, the accused, was previously caught in a bribery allegation. There was no inquiry by the college. They took no action against him. More importantly, these charges of misconduct were ignored. There was supposedly someone in the welfare board who had connections with the ruling party there in the state. Who was the one who got him this job in the first place? We have no idea whether he was qualified for this job. And most importantly, and this is what I completely fail to understand, on someone who was not vetted, on whom there was no background check, how was he allowed unfettered access to every department, every nook and cranny of this medical college and hospital?
There's a very simple reason, Zaka, for all this. I agree with you, is the most horrendous crime which has been committed. And, basically it's like amanat mein khayanat. The person who's responsible for the safety is the person who has actually done it. These civic volunteers are political appointments. And I think there are about 150,000 of them. And that's perhaps one of the reasons why this person went shifting around and joined the police welfare department. In state-run hospitals, you have police chowkis for the medico-legal cases, and these are very, very, helpful to patients and also to the doctors also, and they are actually very, very liked. But some of them do this crookery, do this business as this fellow was doing. So I would lay the blame definitely not only on the college authorities who knew about this, why didn't they lodge a formal complaint, but also on the police, that if they have known about his shenanigans, then this man should have been kicked out. And his personal life is also coming out to be the same. He had 3 wives, and his one of the mother-in-laws have also said that he brutally treated his earlier wife too, and he has been caught in one of the crimes. This is, impossible to believe that somebody like this was carrying on these activities in the hospital and without being noticed.
So Dr.
And I'm
Shantanu
afraid
Sen,
the state-run hospitals
the thing that the doctors are asking is, given the depravity and the degree of the crime, they are convinced this is not just one person who could have carried this out. Even the Chief Minister today said if there are more accomplices, the police will catch them within 7 days. If they don't catch them within 7 days, the case will go to the CBI. The question is twofold. One, how come no one did a background check on this man? On whose recommendation was he given the job? the previous cases of misdemeanor, corruption, bribery, etc. that he was alleged of? How come there was no inquiry, no action taken against him? How did he have completely unregulated access at any point of time, a day or night? This crime happened between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. How is it that at any point of time, day or night, he had unregulated access to every department in the hospital? And the most important thing is the principal of this institution. I believe his name is Dr. Sandeep Ghosh. Why within 24 hours, first of all, he did not offer his resignation. It is after the protest began and after immense pressure by the doctors that he gave his resignation this morning, saying he was resigning. And within 24 hours, Dr. Shantanu said, he's been repatriated as principal to another college. Does that not show you the lack of seriousness in addressing this case and the people around this case on whom responsibility also needs to be fixed?
I would like to answer your question in three folds. First of all, so far the number of criminals is concerned, no one has declared yet now that there was only one culprit. The investigation process is on. As you believe, similarly I do believe, similarly Madam Chief Minister also believes that so far the circumstantial evidences are concerned, the number of culprits are more than one. Let the investigation be over. We are sure, as per the statement given by the police commissioner and the Chief Minister herself, we are sure the other culprits will also be detected and punished very soon. Number one. Number two, so far the Sanjoy Roy is concerned. Yes, of course, he was not a staff of Arjikar Medical College. Sanjoy Roy was a civic volunteer. The question has come on the surface that how he entered into this hospital, how he used to enter into this hospital. This is under the process of investigation. I can ensure you each and every fact will be unveiled and he will be given adequate punishment as he deserves. So far the third part of your question is concerned, like reinstatement of principal, that is absolutely an administrative decision, and as I am not a part of administration, I am really unable to answer this question.
Sir, but this is a government medical college. After all the outrage around the role of the college authorities, like I just outlined, how did this man get the job? How did the corruption allegations against him not get investigated? Why no action was taken previously? I believe there were other women doctors and students who had made similar allegations of molestation against him in the past. Again, nobody inquired. And the principal who oversaw all of this, he resigns in the morning and by evening he has another job.
Yes. Once again I repeat, so far this criminal activity is concerned, Madam Chief Minister has categorically ensured. Sorry?
No, you finish. I'm going to Gargi Roy after that, but you finish, Dr. Sen, first.
Yeah. Once again I would like to repeat that Madam Chief Minister has categorically ensured that each and every culprit will be found out and will be punished. And so far this reinstatement is concerned, once again I repeat, it's an absolutely administrative decision. Administration took this decision according to their discretionary power. So I am not able to answer this question on behalf of administration because I am not a part of administration.
Dr. Gargi Nandi Roy, what the protesting doctors want is either a court-monitored investigation or hand over the case to the purview of the CBI. And the Chief Minister today, after meeting the victim's family, has said that if within 7 days other accused are not caught, then we will hand it over to the CBI. The doctors are convinced that there is more than one accused in this case. Why the CCTV footage of the other accused, just like this accused CCTV footage came out, why the CCTV footage of other accused has not come out yet, I don't know. That is something again the doctors are asking. They also want adequate compensation to the victim's family. And one of their most important demands is, and I keep coming back to this, terminate and blacklist the principal and the person who was security in charge of the hospital. Shouldn't the buck stop with these two individuals?
Okay. Thank you, Zaka. Zaka, the thing is that West Bengal government and police has a very bad record when it comes to crime against women. We are seeing what happened to the Kamduni rape case. Those people who are given death sentence, have acquitted, people given death sentences have been commuted to life. So all those things we have seen what kind of statement made by Chief Minister. Now coming to this particular case of RG Kar, it's brutal. I mean, I have no words to express, but Zaka, there has been an attempt to cover it up from the very beginning. Even after seeing such a body in such condition, why did the parents given a call informing that there was a suicide committed? The father of the girl said that after the incident, he got a call from somebody who called himself assistant super and said it's a suicide. Why? So there was an attempt to cover up. Now also obviously with so much of marks, bruises, it is quite obvious it is not the work of one person. And now question is coming whether Sanjoy Roy has been even made a scapegoat. I don't know whether you are aware, there have been many viral audios where police persons are heard saying that there may be person from the admin and doctor who involved in the case, and there is an attempt to cover that up. Maybe some intern, son of, I will not name, of son of some minister in the TMC, to cover up, this person has been arrested. And coming to Sanjoy Roy, a civic volunteer, Zaka, as per the Calcutta High Court, can only be given traffic duty. So what was he doing? The question must come, what was he doing in the Welfare Board of Police? And then who controls Welfare Board of Police? The Shantanu Sinha Bishwas, who called Mamata Banerjee Ma. So why is not Shantanu Sinha Bishwas summoned? That what was Sanjoy Roy doing in the Welfare Board? Why did he have so much of access? Then see how so many things are contradictory. After the death, the investigation committee made up of 11 doctors and interns in the college, and aren't they also under doubt? Because at that time they were on duty. There's a police officer, so why are they in the investigation team? Secondly, what was the hurry to cremate the body? Police was in a hurry to cremate the body. Why? There could have been another post-mortem. And see, the thing is, they said the floor, that same floor of seminar hall, the CCTV was not working. It was the outside CCTV. The police said there's a 40 minutes gap of the entry and exit of Sanjoy Roy. Tell me, Zaka, the kind of injury the girl's body has. A police officer is there. He took 5 minutes to reach and come out. In 30-35 minutes, such thing could have happened. And if the girl resisted, there must be some injury mark on Sanjoy Roy's body. So the big question is, are they trying to cover up some influential person? And let me tell you, around a couple of years back, the deputy super of RG Kar, he came out with 1000-page complaint about the corruption happening in RG Kar hospital. And this Dr. Shondeep Ghosh, do you know there has been vigilance commission against him? Do you know around a year back he was removed from RG Kar's principal, but he locked the principal's room and went again, he was reinstated. So imagine the kind of power these people exercise.
So Dr. Shantanu Sen, respond to those questions. How is it that if there is CCTV footage available to show Sanjoy Roy was involved?
Whose son they are trying to save?
Yeah, who are you trying to save? That's the question.
Whose son are you trying to save?
Yeah, let him respond.
Is it only Sanjay? Because now there's a question whether he has been made a scapegoat.
Let him respond.
Yes, there's lot of criminal activity against him. Yes.
Let him respond.
I will answer all her questions. Number one, so far the crime against women is concerned, if you go to the National Crime Record Bureau, it says that Calcutta is the safest metropolitan city and West Bengal is a very safe setup for the women. And so far this crime against women is concerned, at least any person representing BJP has got no right to say on that, because Manipur is burning, because Bilkis Banu's rapists are garlanded, because Amit Malviya runs the IT cell with the help of the rapist of Benares
Have some
University.
Have some shame, sir.
Because I didn't interrupt even
There are
once.
very important questions being asked.
Please answer my question, sir.
Okay.
I didn't interrupt.
One second. Let him finish.
Mr.
Let him finish, and then
Anchor,
I'll come to Shazia Elmi after that. But Dr. Sen, you by bringing in some kind.
No, one second. I didn't interrupt even once. Why she is interrupting?
Yeah, no. I have told her that she will speak at her turn. But my submission to you, sir.
Let me answer her question. Number two, had there been any intention to cover up, had there been any intention to shield anybody, Chief Minister would not have come on the very day in front of camera giving her bold statement, unlike any other political leader in the country. Number two. Number three, so far this minister's son is involvement is concerned, it is absolutely a bogus and fake information. I say this with full conviction. Number 4, Mamata Banerjee is addressed by so many as my ma. Even I also address Mamata, I also consider Mamata Banerjee as my mother. She might be my political leader, but I consider her as my mother. Nothing wrong in it. Number 4, so far the postmortem is concerned, the videography was done during the postmortem. Magistrate inquest was done in presence of the parents of this disease and the students of Arjikar Medical College. And last but not the least, so far the reinstatement of principal is concerned, here I am unable to answer your question once again.
Which you have made clear before as well. So Shazia Elmi, so NCRB records say Kolkata is safe, West Bengal is safe, it has a better record compared to Uttar Pradesh. This is of course the political equivalence that Dr. Sen is trying to draw. So you people should not be complaining about crimes against women. That's his contention.
I think, they're so intoxicated by this heady political tonic that they drink day after day, that they have lost all compassion, all humanity, all decency. Just see how such a sensitive issue of how brutally this woman was mutilated, assaulted and then murdered is being treated. Again, the TMC person here is talking about Manipur, which we've talked about many times, and everybody's expressed anguish. But are you trying to belittle this murder and this rape only because it happened in West Bengal? So a woman who gets murdered or killed or raped in West Bengal on the watch of Mamata Banerjee, is her life's value is any less than those in the states where BJP rules? I mean, what kind of equivalence are you trying to draw? The kind of issue you all would have made had it happened in any of the BJP ruled states. One is not even doing that because it's so brutal, you can't even go that far. You can't even think ahead because it just stumps you. It's so crazy, the violence that this girl has endured. It's difficult to even, speak after that. But that's all, sir, that you can think about. You are not ready to look at all the things that Nandiji just spoke about. Can you imagine who this person's benefactor was? That he had access to go inside the different wards. Do you imagine how dangerous this situation is? That such kind of monsters roam around freely. How many more of them are there? This is a civic volunteer that you have and the access you have. I mean,
but
you
Dr.
should be
Sen, you can't just brush away the gravity of the crime.
I can't understand this.
Yeah, by simply saying that, Uttar Pradesh has a worse record or, Rajasthan has a worse record. That's just, a completely false political equivalence. Dr. Sen.
We never undermine the gravity of this situation. We give due importance to the gravity of this situation. We are really shocked. We are really stressed. We are really shocked like anything. We are shattered. And it's not only me. Our Chief Minister, Madam Mamata Banerjee also, she has categorically said that she is having two junior doctors in her own house. She is equally involved in this issue. She is equally concerned. That's why she has said, yes, I do support
how she was protecting
and the protest
Shah
of the
Jahan Sheikh.
doctors.
We saw that.
You just tell me, you just cite one example in the entire country that Narendra Modi or JP Nadda, they came in front of the media and they said, yes, Bilkis Bano did this thing, which is absolutely wrong. Yes, Amit Malviya should not have run the IT cell with the rapist of the Benares Hindu University. Yes, the rapist of the Bilkis Bano
just see you doing it again.
All of these, sir, this is falsehood and all of which what you say.
There is falsehood.
But I want to stick to the Kolkata case, the RG Kaur case, and the questions that Dr. Gargi Nandi asked you. Who is this person who made this Sanjoy Roy sit on the welfare board? What is that person's connection with the TMC? Is that person a card-carrying member of the TMC? And how is it a police civic volunteer had so much access to the hospital despite the fact that there were serious allegations against him, both allegations of, molestation against women and allegations of corruption against him?
Yes, Sanjoy Roy was not a staff of Arjikar Medical College. He had no right to enter into the premises of the Arjikar Medical College, and that too at the late hours of the night. I do admit Sanjoy Roy was a civic volunteer. As he was a civic volunteer, he might have got some connection with the welfare board. Whether he has used this connection for the greater interest or for bad interest, that I cannot comment. The welfare board people, they can comment on that. But whatever he has done is a criminal offence, and that's why he will be given the maximum possible punishment.
Yes.
I can ensure you.
Yasho Azad, do you believe that he will get the maximum possible punishment? Because I think the insinuation is that there was somebody politically powerful who was either protecting this man or the powerful political interests were making a scapegoat out of him. That's the insinuation.
I'll answer this question, but I'll answer this question, but let me also start by saying that, you know, in this political polemic, we are losing the sight of the real issue here. First, you see, conspiracy theories will arise almost every day. So the best thing is that this case should be handed over to the CBI. Number two, you know, this civic volunteer, who appointed him, whether he was a TMC or not, I'm telling you, 150,000 civic volunteers are there in West Bengal, and they are political appointees. Now, number three, whether he is on the police welfare board, he might have been attached to that police chowki which looks after the medico-legal cases, and these people have access almost everywhere. They serve the cause of the doctors, the patients and everyone, and in the process they make a lot of business too. So that is why what happens is that in all these hospitals this racket is going on, and therefore it is very, very important to see in this particular case that whether there were other people involved also, or whether he was the lone wolf. In that respect, I think it's very, very important that the case should be handed over to the
But tell me,
CBI,
as a former
solution
police
for
officer,
this case.
Mr. Azad, if the CCTV footage is what revealed this man's identity, wouldn't the same CCTV footage also reveal if there were accomplices or not?
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying that if there is a charge that there is a conspiracy theory to save somebody, it's very important that you have something impartial as the CBI to get into the act. Though I still believe that he has now been caught, and in his police remand, he will of course cough out the name of others if others have been involved. Because this happened at a time when nobody was there. And to restrain that person, the victim, I do feel that he might have had accomplices.
Dr. Gargi Nandi Roy, I'll give you the final word. The state is saying we arrested him, we identified him, we arrested him within 24 hours. He's been remanded to police custody. The Chief Minister herself went and met the victim's family. They've increased compensation, and she is also assured that if within 7 days they are not able to find other accomplices, the case will be handed over to the CBI. What more do you want the state to do?
Yes, Zach. Yeah, I think it should be handed over to the CBI, maybe a court-monitored investigation, because we do not believe the West Bengal police, and we are not able to do. If there are political pressure on the police will not be able to do any proper investigation. Many things, what the questions I asked, Shantanu Da, he just did whataboutery, but he did not answer what I asked. He did not answer that welfare board where civic volunteers cannot be controlled by Shantanu Sinha, which was namesake for him. He is with the TMC, close aide of Mamta Banerjee. Why that person is not summoned? So there are a lot of questions, and I told you, Zaka, the CCTV on that floor was not working, and it is not the handiwork of one person.
Yeah,
so
it was not working.
obviously there has to be
Correct.
a CBI investigation. It was not working, only the outside, and I told you the entry and exit of Sanjoy Roy was 40 minutes. So in 30 minutes, such a brutal thing happened with so many 10 injuries, broken collarbone. It is not possible. I'm not a forensic person, but we can understand from the common sense.
Dr. Sen,
and
I have to wrap up very quickly.
Report, Rajikar had
30-second
and let me tell you, Zaka,
rebuttal.
about
Yeah,
the civic
ma'am,
volunteers, there
I'm
are
winding down on time. I have to move to the
160,000
second
civic
segment on
volunteers.
Hindenburg. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr.
1
Sen.
second, civic volunteers, 160,000,
So far,
training and
so
no
far
verification.
so far the security, so far the, come on, he is still continuing.
No, go on,
so
go
far
on,
the
go on.
police welfare board is concerned. Yeah, so far the police welfare board is concerned, any person from the police welfare board can answer your question. So far this
No, but this individual, Shantanu Sinha Biswa,
One second,
He's a
one
member
second.
of your party.
Hina Biswas.
Why are you not calling him for investigation?
He is a police officer. He is not a member of our. No. I want to correct you.
No, sorry.
He is
Sorry.
a police officer.
Yeah.
He's very, he calls
No,
for
what is the
penalty.
connection?
Close.
What is the
No,
connection?
he
Why
is not
did
a party
he?
member.
Why did
He is
he?
not a party
Why
member.
did he get? Why
He is
did he
not a-
get Sanjoy Roy on the welfare board? What is the connection there? Don't you want to inquire that?
I hope you will. I hope you will allow me to answer.
Yes.
Shantanu Sinha Biswas is an ACP ranked police officer. He is not a party member. If you have any other question, and if the investigator process thinks that he should be summoned, he will be
Isn't
summoned.
he close to
So far
Mamata
the
Banerjee?
security is concerned.
Please,
Yes.
Dada, isn't he
Go-
close
once
to
it-
Mamata
Come on.
Banerjee?
Now
Doesn't he
please
call-
allow
Why
me
should
to
he
Ma'am,
be
one
called
second.
Don't
Mamata
interrupt.
Banerjee?
Ma'am,
So-
let him finish. Yeah,
in
let him
an
finish.
indecent way. So far the security issue is concerned, yes, government should take care, should be more cautious regarding the security in the hospital. At the same time, Narendra Modi also should be more cautious regarding the security in the parliament premises to prevent the breach of security for the member of parliament when the outsiders are jumping.
You know,
from
it's
the,
disgusting.
gallery
Your
on the
attitude
well.
is so
All right.
disgusting.
No.
Should be
It's
much more
nauseatingly.
careful for that.
I have to wrap up.
It's
I have to wrap
nauseatingly
up. Thank
disgusting
you
the
very
way you
much
talk and
to
trivialize
Dr. Sen,
something
Shazia
so
Elmi,
sensitive as
Gargi
rape.
Roy, and of course Yasho Azad for joining us. I want to move on quickly to the other big story, and it's a fairly big one, both economically and politically. There is a major twister after the Hindenburg report with the lens on a potential non-disclosure or worse, conflict of interest involving the securities regulator SEBI chief Madhvi Puri Butch. Now, she along with her husband, Dhaval Butch, have been accused by Hindenburg of investing in an offshore fund that was later linked to the Adani Group. Now, the Hindenburg report claims that there was a conflict of interest and a lack of objectivity in regulating the activities of the Adani Group. In fact, today, the shares of the Adani Group companies experienced a decline. In some stocks, it went up to almost 7% decline this morning. But the broader markets were fine. In fact, the Sensex opened flat and then gained as the day progressed. Many investors did opt for a cautious approach, but the kind of meltdown that they were expecting in the markets when we saw the Hindenburg 1.0 report that came out last year, that was not how the market reacted this time around. Markets climbed back by the end of the day, and that, many experts are saying, is the market discounting any kind of substantive allegation in that report. SEBI has also put out a statement clarifying that Chairperson Madhvi Puri Butch made all the relevant disclosures from time to time. Butch herself has said that her finances are an open book, calling the Hindenburg report a character assassination plot. A political face-off has erupted over the report. Rahul Gandhi has demanded a joint parliamentary committee inquiry, while the BJP has accused the Congress of trying to create economic anarchy.
The Congress party, its allies, and its closest allies, the Toolkit Gang, have conspired together to usher in economic anarchy and instability in India. In their pathological hatred against Narendra Modi ji, led by Mr. Rahul Gandhi and his friends, Toolkit Gangs, Congress party today has developed a hatred against India itself.
The savings of millions of Indians, hard-earned, honestly earned savings, are at risk. It is therefore imperative that this matter is investigated. Slowly becoming crystal clear why Prime Minister Modi is against a joint parliamentary committee looking into this matter.
All right, so broadly, before I get an expert view on this, broadly there are three allegations against the SEBI chairperson which the Hindenburg report has made. Number one, that she had invested in an offshore fund between 2015 and 2018, and in 2018 she divested or redeemed or liquidated that fund, but that fund later on in 2022 was one of 13 funds that the Supreme Court appointed committee inquired into, where the allegation was that those 13 funds were allegedly used by Vinod Adani, the elder brother of Mr. Gautam Adani, to siphon back funds into the Indian stock market. So the first allegation against Madhvi Puri Butch is one of those funds she and her husband too were invested in. The second allegation is that her husband, after he retired from Unilever, became a consultant for Blackstone in 2019 and Blackstone had been awarded a real estate linked instrument. The Hindenburg allegation is that this was a quid pro quo for SEBI granting Blackstone the rights to this real estate linked instrument. As a quid pro quo, her husband was made a consultant for Blackstone. And the third allegation in the Hindenburg report against the Butchers is that they had a consulting firm in which initially Madhavi Puri had 100% stake and then later she transferred that to her husband, which had consulted for private companies even after she became a whole-time member of SEBI and even after she became a chairperson of SEBI. That same consulting firm was used by her husband for his consultations after he retired and joined Blackstone in 2019. So these are the three broad allegations, and the Butchers have put out a very detailed defense against these allegations. Does the defense cut ice? Let's try and make sense of this. Bodhisattva Ganguly is consulting editor with Money Control. He's now joining us. Bodhi, thank you very much for joining us. Let me deal with the first charge that's been leveled against Madhavi Puri Butch, that she and her husband had investment in an offshore fund, which later on was alleged to be one of the funds that Vinod Adani used to siphon funds back into the Indian stock markets. The Butchers have put out a defense. Does that defense hold good, specifically on allegation 1?
Okay, the facts are convoluted, and I think it is possible that new information could emerge. But see, the investments, what is undisputed, even if you go by Hindenburg, is that these investments were made way back in 2015, when both Madhavi and her husband were private persons. They were working in a private capacity. They are based in Singapore. They have invested in a fund called IP Plus One Fund. The structure which Hindenburg is talking about is something called the Global Opportunities Fund. The investment which IP Plus One Fund made, and IFL, which has now issued a detailed, or 360 Wealth Fund as it is now called, has issued a very detailed clarification on what that fund, and they have clarified that they have not invested in any, in any Adani securities, and that in fact 90% of their investment were in debt instruments. Now, unless Hindenburg can bring fresh information to light which will contradict this, we must take this assumption to be true. They've also, Madhavi Butch and Dhaval Butch have explained that the reason why they invested in the fund is that the fund manager was personally known to them. And I think Anil Ahuja in an interview has clarified that he has not invested in any Adani company because at that time he was a director on the board of Adani, of various Adani enterprises.
Yeah.
It's, as he said, that would be insider trading 101. So he has not done that. So I think it's been, so yes, I would find the denials fairly convincing. I think the allegations are fairly thin.
I do want to ask you, but the moot point on this particular allegation, even the opposition parties are sort of making this the moot point, is that in 2023, when the Supreme Court appointed a 6-member committee to inquire into the allegations against the Adani Group, did Madhavi Puri Butch reveal or make a disclosure that in one of the 13 funds she too had invested in the past, although she had redeemed that much before this inquiry was ordered? Do we know anything about whether that disclosure was made?
Okay, so that's a good question. So they have, so the statement issued by Madhavi Puri Butch and Dhaval Butch does not make this clear as to whether they indeed made a disclosure. That could be the one. See, let me just look at the big picture here. I quite frankly do not think there is any anything sinister which can be read into the investment by the Butch couple in a fund run by a fairly well-known fund manager. The fund appears to have been, by the way, they don't seem to have made much money on the fund. I think the total investment value is about $800,000, which is not a huge amount. And it was redeemed several years before this event. It's a convoluted structure. Some of these funds do indeed have layered ownership structure that by itself, by the way, is standard. There is something in Bermuda, there's something below that in Mauritius, and so on. Again, one can sort of read sinister meanings or ascribe sinister meanings into these structures, but these are fairly common. These are fairly common. Whether she made a disclosure to the Supreme Court committee, though, is not clear at this point in time.
Okay.
But I would say that even if a disclosure was not made, I think too much should not be read into it. I would not say that's a very major lapse. It is, however, completely up to the judiciary and the Supreme Court to take note of that if they wish to.
So the other allegation is that concerning the Blackstone Group. In the Blackstone Group, the allegation is that Madhvipuri Butch's husband, Dhaval Butch, became a consultant with Blackstone after he retired. And the Hindenburg allegation is that this was in quid pro quo to some of the real estate linked instruments that SEBI had given. One of the companies that benefited from that instrument, or one of the companies that got the rights to that instrument, was Blackstone. Does the defense by the Butch couple, is it convincing in this regard?
I think the Blackstone part is even more absurd, because first of all, REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, is a very well-known an instrument for investing in the real estate sector. It is part of the natural process of the development of the Indian market that more and more instruments, such as there's REITs, there is InvITs, which allow you to invest in infrastructure, basically highways and basically structures which own highways and toll roads and the like, right? So these are normal market structures. I think to read sinister meanings into that is, I think, even more sort of a convoluted type of logic or argument. Blackstone has not officially come on the record, but Money Control has reported, quoting sources close to Blackstone, that he had nothing to do with the real estate part of the business. He was he was advising Blackstone's private equity, arm. So yes, I would not take this seriously at all. I'd like to point out also, the statement issued by SEBI also makes it clear that enforcement action with regard to the allegations against the Adani Group and some FPIs, the SEBI press release says that enforcement actions have been initiated. They have not given details, but it's in the public domain. The short sellers tend to be muckrakers. So they have what they seem to have done is they have carried out an elaborate exercise of data scraping, and they've come up with bits and pieces of data, and then they have made it seem very sort of sinister and conspiratorial and so on. I think in fact, quite frankly, I think it casts more doubt on the credibility of Hindenburg than of the SEBI chairperson and indeed of SEBI.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us and explaining that to our viewers. Bodhisattva Ganguly is consulting editor with Money Control. We'll take a break. When we come back, amidst the turmoil in Bangladesh, former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has reportedly hinted at the role of the United States and an obscure island in the northern Bay of Bengal. Of course, her son has now walked back on that charge. But what is this St. Martin's Island, and why is it strategically important? Does the United States eye that? Is it in response to China and its One Belt, One Road initiative? And did this at all have anything to do with the loss of power and the regime change that we saw in Dhaka exactly a week ago? Like I said, Sheikh Hasina's son has dismissed those reports. He's walked back on what was reported as parts of her last speech that she wanted to deliver. And the most sensational part of that speech is about the St. Martin's Island. We'll do a deep dive on the other side.
माई भाई, मैंने भी इस बार SIP करके म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसे डाले। तो मुझे ये जानना था कि KYC का चक्कर क्या है?
म्यूचुअल फंड सही है .com
या अपने म्यूचुअल फंड की वेबसाइट पे जाओ, पैन नंबर डालो और सिर्फ इतना देखो कि तुम्हारा केवाईसी स्टेटस रजिस्टर्ड है या वैलिडेटेड। रजिस्टर्ड हो तो आधार और पैन कार्ड के साथ अपना केवाईसी वैलिडेट करो, जरूरी है और ज्यादा वक्त भी नहीं लगता। और वैलिडेटेड हो तो सही है। सही है माई भाई, अब तक इन्वेस्ट किया ना हो तो केवाईसी कर लो और मैदान में उतरो। सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
You can see behind me, these are the resident doctors of Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital in the national capital, who are in fact sitting on infinite strike, and they are in fact demanding justice as far as the victim is concerned, and also compensation to the victim's family. We'll speak to some of them who have in fact gathered here. With what demand are you sitting on?
Our first demand is that we likely to bring a focus of people on this situation. This case is not less than an Nirbhaya case that we had in Delhi. So I want to everyone, society and governments, focus on this case. And along with this, we want a focus on the crime which are occurring against the doctors. We don't feel secure in our hospital campus. There are almost 4 to 5 incidences of FIR launched against the doctors. There are incidents of gunshot in GTP hospital last month, and there's many incidents of violence is increasing day by day against doctors.
One accused in the case has been arrested, but that is not enough, is what you're saying.
On the case, we want to say we want a CBI inquiry, because as the case has started, there was a psychotic problem angle of the case. So the administration of the hospital tried to save the actual culprits. So we want a CBI inquiry for the case.
What are the demands? Because this is not the first time that the doctors are sitting on strike. There have been Protection Act that you always wanted. With what more demands are you sitting?
First of all, we want that the investigation should be thorough. It should be done by CBI, because there are what we are getting from our people from our fraternity, that the facts are being hidden. The people are trying to hide the person who has actually committed, and they are trying to scapegoat some other person. So we want that the investigation should be thorough, and it should be clear and should be evident to everyone. Second, we want that the protection should be applied throughout the country, because there are numerous episodes against violence against the doctors, which have been reported in the past too many times, but no action has been taken so far. But now this time it has increased to this extent कि वो रेप तक चला गया है. So अगर अभी भी हम लोग अपने डॉक्टर्स के अगेंस्ट कोई स्टेप नहीं लेंगे, तो what else do we want? So this is one thing we want. So we all are looking for Central Protection Act, that the doctors, the saviors should be saved. And we should not sit like this to ask for protection against women. We are serving the society. We do not want you plead to ask for justice for us.
So these are some of the voices that are coming in from the protest side. You can see the kind of posters with which they are sitting here. Violence against doctor ends today. We want justice. Justice delayed is justice denied. So you can see rape, murder of an on-duty doctor. This is not acceptable. With these demands, you can see how the number of resident doctors are in fact sitting on strike here. Now, this is not just the scene that is going to happen in national capital. A call of strike has been given for across the country for doctors. So not just in Delhi, but Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, all these states are going to go on strike probably by today or by tomorrow, because these doctors have been demanding for the longest time that there needs to be a Protection Act, because when it comes to these doctors, their life is in jeopardy. There have been instances where they have been attacked by the victim's family, and now a doctor herself has been brutally raped and murdered. So a justice.
As a month-long movement led by students led to a dramatic shift in power in Bangladesh, there has been a lot of speculation over whether there is more than meets the eye over Sheikh Hasina's ouster. The former 5-time Prime Minister who fled the country reportedly told her supporters, "I could have remained in power if I had surrendered the sovereignty of St. Martin's Island and allowed America to hold sway over the Bay of Bengal." While the former Bangladesh Prime Minister's son dismissed the remarks as fabricated, This is not the first time that Sheikh Hasina had hinted at US's interest in the island. Earlier, she claimed that a white man had offered her a smooth return to power in exchange for an airbase on St. Martin's Island. A seemingly nondescript 3 square kilometre stretch of land located in the northeastern part of the Bay of Bengal has unexpectedly become a focal point in Bangladesh's ongoing political turmoil. This small coral island is home to approximately 3,700 residents who are primarily engaged in fishing and farming. But it's the island's strategic location which has caught the attention of major global powers. St. Martin's Island is near the Strait of Malacca, which is one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. A military base on the island would provide any country with unparalleled oversight of the Bay of Bengal, including surveillance of Chinese investments and activities in the region around the Strait of Malacca. The island falls within Bangladesh's exclusive economic zone, giving access to fish, oil and gas. It is also a popular tourist destination with its pristine beaches attracting lots of visitors every year. While the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea recognized St. Martin's Island as part of Bangladesh, Myanmar sees it as its own territory. In 2018, Myanmar had included St. Martin's Island on its official map, which triggered a strong objection from Bangladesh. The map was eventually deleted, with the then Myanmar Foreign Minister claiming that it was a mistake. But that government has since been ousted by the military junta, and ships travelling to the island have been fired upon this year. This has forced the Bangladeshi Navy to deploy its own vessels near the island. The rumours about US wanting to control St. Martin's Island has been doing the rounds for several years. Officially, though, Washington has rejected them. In 2003, Mary Ann Peters, the then US envoy to Bangladesh, said her country has no plans, no requirement and no desire for a military base on St. Martin's Island, Chittagong or anywhere else in Bangladesh. But US's interest in St. Martin's Island is seen as part of a broader strategy to counter China's influence in South Asia. A US military presence on the island could serve as a check on Chinese ambitions in the region, particularly given China's ongoing investments in the Belt and Road Initiative through Bangladesh and Myanmar. It could also provide a foothold to keep an eye on the Cox's Bazar port in Bangladesh that the Chinese are building. So the geopolitical significance of St. Martin's Island cannot be underestimated.
Presented by
proper rule needs to be implemented on ground is the demand with which these doctors in huge numbers are sitting at Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Not just Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, we have been given to understand all the 10 government hospitals across Delhi. The resident doctors are going to demand justice and are going to be sitting on strike starting today. Well, but obvious the elective services are going to get affected because mostly the resident doctors help the hospital when it comes to the elective services. But when it comes to the emergency services, that is not going to be impacted is what the doctors are saying, because the in-house doctors and the consultant doctors will continue to carry on with their work. But meanwhile, the elective services in multiple to you live visuals from RML hospitals. These are the resident doctors, their association. Today FODA is in fact decided that they are going to sit on protest. Tomorrow FIMA, which is another Federation for Indian Medical Association that is going to go on strike, are in fact going to go on strike. So it is clearly going to impact the services. I will speak to some of them here. देखिए आप लोग यहाँ पे इकट्ठा हुए हैं, कहीं ना कहीं सर्विसेज, इलेक्टिव सर्विसेज भी इफेक्ट करेंगी, तो उसके लिए आप लोगों ने क्या सोचा है?
जी हम माना कि इलेक्टिव सर्विस सारी बंद है, लेकिन डॉक्टर्स ने फिर भी अपनी तरफ से सारी कोशिश की है। स्ट्राइक आज सुबह से चालू हुई है, लेकिन हमने मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पेशेंट्स का काम कल शाम को करके रखा है, इसलिए कि ताकि पेशेंट्स को कोई दिक्कत ना हो। पर ये गवर्नमेंट और अथॉरिटीज़ को भी सोचना चाहिए कि अगर कोई विमेन अपनी वर्किंग प्लेस पे सेफ नहीं है तो वो कैसे काम कर सकती है। आज यहाँ पे सबकी ड्यूटीज लगती है 24 आवर्स 36 आवर, तो उसमें भी ओवरनाइट वर्क है, तो वो कहाँ जाएगी? रुकने के लिए जगह नहीं होती है मैम रात को। यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे जो गवर्नमेंट का इनिशिएटिव है कि हर महिला सुरक्षित रहे उनके लिए, और टॉयलेट प्रेमिसेस भी बने वो भी तक साफ सुथरे नहीं होते, तो फिर एक कोई डॉक्टर कैसे इतना सेफ फील कर सकता है, कैसे 36 आवर्स की ड्यूटी कर सकता है। तो हम चाहते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट इस तरफ ध्यान दे, और जो अभी जघन्य अपराध हुआ है उसके लिए एक सीबीआई इंक्वायरी हो और सेंट्रल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट लागू है, यही हमारी मुख्य मांग है।
देखिए, सिर्फ दिल्ली में नहीं पूरे देश भर में डॉक्टर्स जो है स्ट्राइक पे जा रहे हैं। अब एक अक्यूज जो है वो अरेस्ट हुआ है, तो और क्या डिमांड है आपकी और कितनी डिमांड है?
सही बात ये है, असली बात ये है कि जिसको गिरफ्तार किया गया है वो एक स्केपगोट है, वो बलि का बकरा है। असली जो मुजरिम है वो घूम रहे हैं, और ये एक आदमी का काम नहीं है, इसमें 2 से 3 लोग इन्वॉल्व है। ये गैंग रेप का मामला है, ये निर्भया पार्ट 2 है। तो जब तक उनको गिरफ्तार नहीं किया जाएगा उसके लिए हमें सीबीआई जांच चाहिए। बिना सीबीआई जांच आजकल के जो गैर जिम्मेवार अथॉरिटीज है उनको परमानेंटली जब तक नहीं हटाया जाएगा, और जब तक सेंट्रल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट जो कि एक डॉक्टर्स के प्रोटेक्शन का एक्ट हो वो नहीं आता, तब तक यह हड़ताल जारी रहेगी। हमने इमरजेंसी सर्विसेज को बिल्कुल भी हैम्पर नहीं किया है, इमरजेंसी सर्विसेज चल रही है, बट अगर हम सेफ नहीं है तो हम कैसे अपने पेशेंट